Aqui foi onde nós paramos no episódio 2. Don't hurry me, Watson, just listen, I'm coming to that. Last Monday, the 3rd of June, Charles McCarthy went past of go. So he went to the town of Ross. E ele tinha uma companhia with his servant. Lembra que Turner has 6 servants, McCarthy has 2 servants. Lembra disso? Okay? O Turner tem 6, o McCarthy tem 2. So, McCarthy, and his servant, he and his servant, they, ok, os dois, né? McCarthy and his servant, they went to the town of Ross in the morning. While he was there, during the time they were there, for the period of time they were there, enquanto estavam lá, McCarthy, told, spoke to, said to, told, past of tell. He told his servant to hurry because McCarthy, had an important meeting with someone at 3 o'clock that afternoon. Então, naquele mesmo dia. Por causa disso, they drove back quickly to his McCarthy's, the house of McCarthy, his house, the house of McCarthy. Lembra? Where does he live? At Hathley. Tem uma fazenda at Hathley. Se a gente fosse ser bem literal, né? It's not his house. It's Mr. Turner's house, né? It belongs to Mr. Turner. E, na verdade, o McCarthy pays Mr. Turner for the use of his farm. Lembra? Turner is the richer man. Turner has a large part of the land. McCarthy pays Turner to live, to use his farm, né? Okay? Where is the farm? Where is his farmhouse, his house? At Hathley, né? Do McCarthy, at Hathley. Então, they drove back quickly there, just before 3 o'clock, 2:45, 2:50, 2:55, just before 3 o'clock, McCarthy left past of leave. Lembra disso? Toda vez que eu tenho uma journey, uma trip, ainda que seja para o trabalho, casa de um amigo, para outro país, whatever, a trip, né, uma viagem, uma corrida, uma viagem, enfim, viagem no sentido de para outro país, para casa de alguém, uma viagem de Uber, de Waze, whatever, de ônibus, de carro, de avião. Toda vez que eu tenho um percurso de um lugar para o outro, ainda que seja para o trabalho, I leave my origin in the beginning of the trip, and at the end of the trip, I arrive at my destination. Ok? Episódio 1. Então, he left past of leave. He left the farmhouse, né? Farmhouse. A house in a farm. Ok? Farmhouse, a house in a farm, né? Uma casa de fazenda. He left the farmhouse. Por que não? He left the farmhouse. He left the farmhouse just before 3 o'clock. Just before 3 o'clock, he left the farmhouse at Hathley, and he walked down alone to Boscombe Pool. He never came back. Wow. He never came back. Então, vamos aqui usar uma das camadas mais poderosas do Rapid Fire, o método que eu uso para ensinar inglês, que é o bombardeio de perguntas. Você vai responder uma resposta simples, curta. Se você não souber, você chuta qualquer coisa. Proibido construir frase completa nesse momento. É para ser real. Na vida real, a gente responde resposta curta, rápida, objetiva. Ok? Foco na comunicação. Se eu te pergunto qual é o seu nome, você não fala, meu nome é Felipe. Você fala, Felipe. Onde você mora? Brasília. Quantos anos você tem? 37. Você não fala, eu tenho 37 anos. Vida real, a gente não faz isso. Então, esse aqui é um exercício. Questions bombing é um bombardeio de pergunta. É a forma mais poderosa de treinar o teu cérebro para pensar e responder prontamente em inglês. Por isso, a resposta curta, nada de frase completa. Chuta se você não souber, mas fale alguma coisa do seu lado. Por exemplo, who was going from Hatley to Boscombe Pool? Who? Turner, Sherlock, Watson. Who was going from Hatley to Boscombe Pool? Who? McCarthy. Charles McCarthy. Charles McCarthy, ok? Just before 3 o'clock, a penúltima linha aqui, ó. Just before 3 o'clock, McCarthy left the farmhouse, aonde? Hatley, and he walked down alone to Boscombe Pool. Então, who was going to Hatley? Who was going from Hatley to Boscombe Pool? Who? McCarthy. Mr. Charles McCarthy. Where was McCarthy going? Where was he going? Boscombe Pool. McCarthy was going from Hatley to Boscombe Pool. He left Hatley. He left the farmhouse at Hatley. He went to Boscombe Pool. Where was McCarthy going? To Boscombe Pool. He left, best of leave, he left the farmhouse at Hatley, que é o nome do lugarzinho. He went to Boscombe Pool. Próxima. Why was McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool? Então, who was going to Boscombe Pool? McCarthy. Where was McCarthy going? To Boscombe Pool. Why was he going to Boscombe Pool? What was the reason? What was the motive, the objective? Why was McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool? Because he had an important meeting. Okay? He had an important meeting at 3 o'clock that afternoon. What time did he leave home? De novo, só pra gente revisar. Toda vez que eu tenho uma trip, uma journey, in the beginning of my journey, I leave my origin. At the end of my trip, I arrive at my destination. So, what time did he leave home? What time did he, McCarthy, leave home? What time did he leave his farmhouse at Hatley? What time? Just before 3 o'clock. Pode ter sido, né? It might have been 2:45, 2:50, 2:55, sorry. Just before 3 p.m. Não falou exatamente quando, just before 3 p.m. Falando em leave and arrive, e se eu perguntar para você, acabei de perguntar, what time did he leave his farmhouse at Hatley? Just before 3 p.m. E se eu perguntar para você, what time did he arrive? O livro não fala. E se eu perguntar para você, what time did he come back home? What time did he leave home? Just before 3 p.m. What time did he come back home? He never came back. He never came back. Então, vamos fazer mais um bombing questions aqui de novo? Esse aqui é poderosíssimo para te ensinar a pensar e responder prontamente em inglês. Who, what person? Who was going from Hathaway to Boscombe Pool? Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, Mr. Turner. Who was going? Mr. Charles McCarthy. Where was McCarthy going? Location, destination, place. Boscombe Pool. He was going to Boscombe Pool. Why was McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool? What is the reason, the motive, the objective? Why? Because he had an important meeting at 3 o'clock that afternoon. What time did Charles McCarthy leave his farmhouse at Hathaway? What time did he leave home? Just before 3 p.m. 2:45, 2:50, 2:55. What time did he come back? He never came back. Ok? Toca o barco. It's a quarter of a mile from Hathaway Farm, McCarthy's house. Hathaway Farm is the same as McCarthy's house. Hathaway Farm, it's where McCarthy lived. Já não posso nem mais dizer lives because he never came back. He died. He died. Então não posso nem dizer mais he lives. He lived. He lived at Hathaway in a farm. In a farmhouse. At Hathaway. So that's where McCarthy lived. His residence, his house was there. So, do lugar aonde o McCarthy lived, Hathaway Farm, to Boscombe Pool, the distance is a quarter of a mile. So, if I ask you the question, how far, how distant is Hathaway Farm from Boscombe Pool? It's a quarter of a mile. Que é a mesma coisa que dizer 25% of a mile. Só que 1 mile has 1.6 kilometers. 1 mile has 1,600 meters. A quarter of a mile is the same as 1 mile, 1,600 meters, divided by 4, which is, então no final das contas, a quarter of a mile is the same as 400 meters. Okay, so how distant is Hathaway Farm from Boscombe Pool? It's a quarter of a mile or 400 meters. Okay? 400 meters. Okay? It's a quarter of a mile from Hathaway Farm to Boscombe Pool, and two different people saw, past of C, him, McCarthy, as he, McCarthy, walked to Boscombe Pool. So, as he was going, as he was on his way to Boscombe Pool, as he walked to Boscombe Pool, que é o que ele quis dizer com as he walked that way, Two different people saw McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool. One of them was an old woman, 69, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. Old, não posso dizer, how old was she? She was old, 70, 80, 90, okay? What's her name? We do not know her name. So the first person was an old woman. We do not know her name. The second person was a manservant, a masculine servant, a manservant of Mr. Turner. How many servants does he have? Turner has 6 servants. One of them, se você continuar lendo, called William Crowder. Okay, so Turner has 6 servants. One of them, called William Crowder, saw McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool. Okay, so just before 3 o'clock, McCarthy left just before 3 o'clock. McCarthy left his farmhouse at Hathley and he went to Boscombe Pool. The distance is 400 meters, a quarter of a mile. As he was walking to Boscombe Pool, as McCarthy was going to Boscombe Pool, 2 different people saw him going to Boscombe Pool. One of them, an old woman, we do not know her name. The second person, one of the 6 servants of Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner has 6 servants. One of them, called, named William Crowder, saw McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool. So, when I say called William Crowder, what I mean, o que eu quero dizer é, for example, I am Felipe. My name is Felipe. I am called Felipe. Porque call in English é muito mais amplo do que ligar, chamar. Então, if you want to call my name, what do you say? Felipe. Ok? Chamado pelo nome de Felipe seria essa a essência. He is called by the name of William Crowder. I am called Felipe. Seria, né? Called by the name of Felipe. He, Mr. Turner's servant, Mr. John Turner has 6 servants. One of them, manservant William Crowder. He is called by the name of William Crowder. If you want to call him, if you want to talk to him, what do you say? William Crowder. He is called William Crowder. He is called William Crowder. Okay? He is called William Crowder. He saw McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool. Both people say that McCarthy was alone. Both people say McCarthy was alone. Both people, the old woman and William Crowder. Both people, the old woman and William Crowder, the 2 of them, she, the woman, and William Crowder, he, both of them, both people, ambos, said, past of say, McCarthy was alone. Nobody else with him, just McCarthy. Okay? The servant, William Crowder, also says that a few minutes after he saw, past of see, McCarthy go past. O que ele quis dizer aqui? A few minutes after he saw McCarthy going to Boscombe Pool, passing, going away, go past, né? He passed. A few minutes later, he also saw his son, Mr. James McCarthy, going the same way. Wow. So, além, o William Crowder alega, né, que além de ter visto o McCarthy, a few minutes later, he also saw his son, James McCarthy, going the same way. James McCarthy, the son. Esse he faz referência ao James McCarthy, ao son. McCarthy's son. He had a gun. A gun under his arm. He had a gun under his arm. Igual algumas pessoas botam jornal, revista, he had a gun under his arm. The son could see it was possible for the son. It was possible for James, the son, to see his father. Por quê? Porque foi just a few minutes. So they were not distant. They were near, close. It was a short distance. So it was possible for James to see his father, and James was following his father. Following him, following Charles McCarthy, following his father. But Crowder, o servant do Mr. Turner, thought nothing of this until he heard of McCarthy's death later that evening. Ou seja, so the son had a gun, a revolver under his arm. Ok? E Crowder saw nothing. A gente vai naqueles slides daqui a pouco. William Crowder, Mr. Turner's servant, the servant of Mr. Turner, his name is William Crowder, he saw nothing of this. Foi o que o livro diz, que é a mesma coisa que dizer he saw nothing wrong. He saw no problem. He suspected nothing. Ele simplesmente viu McCarthy passando e depois o filho dele foi atrás. Como é que ele ia imaginar? He never suspected anything. He saw no problem. He saw nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. Not until he heard about the death of McCarthy. So, daqui a pouco a gente vai nesse slide. He suspected nothing. Not before, not until he heard about his death. Ou seja, né? Não até... O que o livro quis dizer? Ele viu o pai indo, viu o filho, e o Crowder jamais imaginou que fosse ter alguma coisa errada, até que he discovers McCarthy is dead. Jesus Christ. Okay? So, he saw nothing of this, que é o que está escrito aqui na penúltima linha do parágrafo. Bem aqui, ó. Crowder, the servant, thought nothing of this. Thought, past of think. He thought nothing of this. He thought nothing of this. Not until, not before, not until the moment, né, não até o momento, em que he heard of McCarthy's death later that evening. Ok? So, naquele dia, later, he discovered o William Crowder, o servo do Mr. Turner, he finds out, he figures out. Lembra disso? He discovers. Deixa eu achar esse slide aqui, ó. He finds out, he figures out, he discovers, he learns, né? He hears. McCarthy is dead. E aí o Watson interrompe o Sherlock. You explain it all so clearly. I said, é o Watson falando, né? I said, Watson. I have told you to listen, dear doctor. When I have finished, you can say what you like. I shall continue. Uma pessoa me perguntou, o shall pode ser substituído pelo will? Pode. E pode ser substituído pelo must, should, também. Lá atrás a gente viu o shall no começo do livro. Shall be glad if you can come with me. I'll be glad if you can come with me. Aqui, I shall continue, já seria mais I should. Lembra? Should. It's a very good idea. Aqui eu poderia dizer ele pode ser que ele tenha dito I should continue or I have to continue. I must continue. Então, o shall, ele pode substituir o will, pode substituir o should, e dependendo até I shall go, I must go. I shall continue, I must continue. I should go, I shall go, também pode substituir o should. Ok? Beleza? Deixa eu ver aqui se tem alguma outra revisão para a gente fazer sobre esta página. Não? Beleza. Another person, so a third person. An old woman, William Crowder, e agora a third person, ok? Acender a luz aqui, né? A third person saw the two McCarthys, Charles and James, father and son. Quando ele diz aqui two McCarthys, father and son, Charles and James. A third person, another person, saw the two McCarthys after William Crowder. Então, old woman was the first. William Crowder was the second person to see them. E agora temos uma third person who saw them. Father and son, Charles and James. Them, Charles McCarthy, o them que eu estou usando se refere ao Charles McCarthy and James McCarthy. Linha 2. The land around Boscombe Pool is full of trees with a little grass. So the land around Boscombe Pool is full of trees with little grass. Essa parte verde da imagem aqui do meu lado chama-se grass. esse grass que está aqui na linha 3, ó, little grass. Little grass. Little grass. Essa parte verde que está aqui na imagem chama-se grass. Ok? Então, the land around Boscombe Pool is full of trees with little grass. Okay? So, full of trees with little grass. Full of trees with little grass. Essa parte verde da imagem. Ok? Full of trees with little grass in the open parts beside the water, né? So, in the open, nas partes abertas ali ao lado da água. A girl of 14. A girl of 14. A girl of 14. 14 years old. Her name is Patience Moran. She was picking flowers. Picking, getting, choosing, collecting. Picking, choosing, getting, collecting flowers. She was pegando flowers, picking, collecting, getting, choosing flowers. Okay? Among the trees, in the middle of the trees, that afternoon. Ok? So, ele começou a descrever a região, the land, lembra do episódio 2? Teacher, how can I say terra in English? Terra em geral. Land. The land around Boscombe Pool is full of trees with little grass, a parte verde. Full of trees with little grass. In the open parts beside the water. Então tem um lago, tem alguma coisa ali, ok? A girl of 14 years old, her name is Patience Moran, was picking flowers naquele lugar, among the trees, in the middle of the trees. Among, é como se fosse between, in the middle of. Então estava lá no meio das trees, that afternoon. The afternoon of the murder, the assassination. She, Patience Moran, estou na linha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, line number 5. She, Patience Moran, she saw, past of C, Mr. McCarthy and his son close to the lake. Lembra que eu falei que tinha uma água? Deveria ter algo assim. So, she saw them, father and son, close to the lake. Close to the lake. Near the lake. Not distant from the lake. Close, near, oposto de distant. She saw them, father and son, close to the lake. Okay? She saw them close to the lake. They both, father and son, both of them, the two of them, father and son, ambos, seemed, looked, appeared, looked, seemed, pareciam, to be very angry. They both, okay, father and son, they both, the two of them, seemed, looked like, appeared to be very angry. Okay? She heard Mr. McCarthy using strong language to his son. Que é a mesma coisa de dizer que she heard father and son arguing arguing, disputing. They were having a strong discussion. They were contending. They were having a disagreement. They were arguing. Em inglês, não se usa a palavra discussion para falar disso. Discussion is a conversation. Discussion is a false cognate, é um falso cognato. Porque em inglês, discussion is a conversation. O que vem à nossa mente quando a gente ouve a palavra discussion in English is arguing. It's a dispute. It's a strong discussion, né? Quente. It's to contend, to have a disagreement, desacordo. Okay, so to argue. To argue. Quando a gente ouve discuss, é um falso cognato que nos traz à memória aquilo que em inglês é chamado de argue. Então, essa menina heard, linha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She heard Mr. McCarthy using strong language to his son. She heard Mr. McCarthy, the father, arguing, contending, disputing. She heard the father, Mr. McCarthy, having a strong discussion, a disagreement. She heard them arguing. Okay? She heard them arguing. Strong language. Ok? She saw, linha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She saw the young man lift up his arm. Lembra que he had a gun under his arm. He had a gun under his arm. E aí a menina, she saw James, the son, lift up your arms. Lift up your arms. Lift up your arms. Elevate. Bring your arms up. Lift up his arm. Só que lembra que he had a gun under his arm. E aí ela vê ele lifting up, raising, elevating his arm. Lift up your arms. Lift up your arms. Faz aí onde você está. Fala e faz. Lift up. Lift up my arms. Lift up my arms. Lift up my arms. Lift up my arms. Faz. Lift up my arms. Lift up my arms. She, a menina lá, patient Moran, she saw. Primeiro ele fala, she heard. Olha os 5 sentidos, vamos praticar? I see with my eyes. I see, faz comigo. I see with my eyes. I hear with my ears. I smell with my nose. I taste with my mouth and tongue, né, língua. I touch with my hands. So, fala comigo. I see with my eyes. Fala comigo. I hear with my ears. Fala comigo. I smell with my nose. Faz assim, ó. I smell with my nose. I touch with my hands. Faz assim, ó. I touch with my hands. I taste with my mouth. I taste with my mouth. Então ele fala que, primeiro, she heard the conversation. They were arguing. They were having a dispute, a strong discussion. a contend, a disagreement. And depois o livro fala, she saw his James lifting up his arms. Lifting up his arms. Então vamos lá? Vamos. Repete aí. I see with my eyes. I hear with my ears. I smell with my nose. I taste with my mouth. I touch with my hands. Okay? She heard, she saw, she heard, she saw, she heard, she saw. Arguing, lift up his arms. Espero que você tenha feito os gestos, que aumenta até 70% a memorização. She saw the young man lift up his arm. He seemed, he looked ready, prompt to hit his father. She felt so frightened, scared, afraid. She felt so frightened. She escaped. She ran away. Whoa. She escaped. She ran away. She went home. She left the place. Why? She was feeling frightened. She was feeling frightened. When she, Patience Moran, when she got home, she told, past of tell, her mother about the quarrel. She told her mother about the arguing, the contend, the dispute, the disagreement, the quarrel, que o father and son estavam tendo. Okay, so she heard the arguing, the contend, the dispute. She saw the son, James, lift up his arm. Deles, lift up his arm. He had a gun, a revolver. She felt scared, afraid, frightened. She ran away. She went home. When she got home, she told her mother about the quarrel, arguing, contend, dispute, strong discussion, quarrel. Quarrel, contend, dispute, arguing. E aí ela falando, when I saw them, they seemed, it looked like they were going to have a fight. She, Patience Moran, said. Just as she, Patience Moran, was speaking, at the moment she was talking to her mother about this, when I saw them, it looked like, it seemed, pareceu, they were going to have a fight. Patience Moran said, just as she was speaking, at the moment she was talking to her mother, porque ela ficou frightened, correu para casa, chegou em casa, contou para a mãe. As she was talking to her mother, at the moment she was talking to her mother, young Mr. McCarthy, James, the son, came running up to their house. I have just found my father by the pool. Pool aqui é uma palavra que ele usou para o lake, para o piece of water. É a mesma palavra. Pool é um dos sinônimos. Ele quis se referir ao lake, ok? Lembra que eles estavam close to the lake? Not distant? Então, ela estava lá. She heard the arguing. She heard the discussion. The contend, the dispute, the quarrel. She saw James lift up his arm. She felt frightened, scared, afraid. She ran away home. She went home, frightened. When she got home, she talked to her mother. Mother! E ela começou a contar. I saw Mr. McCarthy and James. They were having a quarrel. They were having a dispute, a contend. Enquanto ela falava com a mãe dela, young Mr. McCarthy came running up to their house. I have just found my father by the pool. He shouted. To shout is to, I have just found my father by the pool. He is dead. We must get help. He looked very excited. Adrenaline. And he didn't have his hat or his gun. Quando ele fala aqui, ó, without either his hat or his gun. He didn't have his hat. He didn't have his gun. Nesse momento que ele chegou na casa. His right hand was red with blood. His right hand was red with blood. Immediately, patient's parents a gente confunde, é um outro falso cognato. Parents, father and mother. A palavra que vem à nossa mente quando a gente ouve parents, em inglês chama relative. Brother, sister, uncle, aunt, cousin, nephew, nieces. A palavra que nós, quando a gente escuta parents, nos vem à memória algo que em inglês é chamado de relative, my family. Parents é father and mother. Então, quando o livro fala patience, parents, ele quer dizer the parents of patience, the father and mother of patience. Ok? Patience, parents. The parents of patience. The father and mother of patience. A menina de 14 years old. Patience's parents went with him. Him quem? O James McCarthy, o son. So, her parents went, past of go, with James to the lake, to the pool, where they found, past of find, where they encountered his father's dead body lying on the grass. Lying é exatamente como ele está aí, ó. Lying on the grass. Ele não está exatamente on the grass, mas ele está lying on the floor, on the ground. Então imagina que agora o chão tem grass. Lying on the grass. His father's dead body lying on the grass. Boscombe Pool by the lake. There were many wounds on his head. Many wounds. There were many wounds on his head. There were many wounds on... Nas atividades a gente vai frisar muito esses vocabulários com sinônimos e etc. Wounds, ok? There were many wounds in his head, made by something thick, opposite of thin. Thick. Livros, existem livros que são thin, existem livros que são thick. Então, as feridas na cabeça dele foram feitas por something thick and heavy, like the wooden part of the young man's gun. Olha só, tá vendo esse revólver aqui do lado? Não tem uma parte amadeirada, aonde segura? Madeira em inglês é wood. Feito de madeira, wooden. Então, ele quis dizer que as feridas na cabeça do pai tinham sido feitas por algo grosso e pesado, como a parte de madeira da arma que ele tinha. Ele tinha uma arma, essa arma tinha um pedaço de madeira, feito de madeira, e as feridas na cabeça do pai dele, que estava morto no chão, pareciam feridas feitas por algo bem parecido com a parte amadeirada da arma que ele tinha. They found his gun lying on the grass. Então, o corpo e a arma estavam lá no chão. They found his gun lying on the grass, not far, not distant from the dead man. The police soon came in a short time, few minutes, soon. Okay, it didn't take them long. Soon, in a few minutes, in a short time, the police came and immediately held the young man for questioning, then locked him up. His case will come up in a few weeks' time. Everything points to the fact that the young man is guilty, does it not? I said. Vamos entender isso aqui. The police came quickly and held the young man. Que é a mesma coisa que took him to the police station to be questioned. The police held the young man, que é a mesma coisa de dizer took him to the police station, né? Levou ele para a delegacia to be questioned and locked him up, que é a mesma coisa de dizer he went to prison. He was arrested. He was arrested. He was arrested. Locked him up. Em outras palavras, a polícia put him in jail. Put him in jail. Locked him up. They put him in jail. He was arrested. He was locked up. He was put in jail. He was arrested. The police held the young man. Mesma coisa de dizer, they took him, James, to the police station to be questioned. E after that, he was locked up. He went to prison. He was arrested. He was put into jail. E aí, his case will come up in a few weeks' time. His case will be analyzed, judged. His case will be decided if he is innocent or not in a few weeks' time. E aí termina essa parte onde a gente termina o episódio de hoje. Everything points to the fact that the young man is guilty, does it not? Everything, all the evidence points to the fact that the young man is guilty. O que é guilty? Opposite of innocent. O juiz vai julgar if he is innocent or guilty. Ok? Então, o que o Watson quis dizer? Everything, última frase, all the evidence, all the facts are saying, are telling the young man is not innocent. That the young man is guilty. Ok?